The only sin is limitation. When you walk around this planet limiting yourself to every single thing it has gifted us, every party favor we are given every single day from this planet, you are limiting yourself from what it is offering us to evolve the love in our hearts, because that's all it's about, is love and having fun.
Hello and welcome. You've landed on Zero Limits Living. I'm Dr. Joe Vitale. Every week, I bring you inspiration and information to transform your life. The show's become so popular so quickly, you can now see it or hear it on 1,000 platforms across the galaxy, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, YouTube, and probably anything you could mention and anything you're using right now. To make it easy for you, I'm putting all the shows in one place. Go to ZeroLimitsLivingTV.com and you can binge. You can also sign up to be notified whenever there's a new episode. So go to ZeroLimitsLivingTV.com. Very quickly, a lot of people ask about coaching. I started my own coaching program almost 20 years ago, trademarked it, tested it. It's a proven system that works. But find out for yourself. Go to miraclescoaching.com and investigate. Get a free consultation. Kick the tires, so to speak. miraclescoaching.com. My latest program is mentaltimetravelsystem.com. I had to pause because I have new programs all the time. mentaltimetravelsystem.com. And my latest book, at least for the moment, is Unexpected Kindness. And you can go to unexpectedkindnessbook.com. And now I have a treat for you, because we're going to talk to somebody I've been wanting to talk to for quite some time, because I want to find out how to be an entrepreneur in the restaurant business. And I want to find out more about her recipes, and more importantly, does she serve carrot cake? Let me tell you who I have. She's a renowned chef, pastry chef, talk show host, designer, and founder of The Yellow Carrot. Sari Suzanne Seedorf is an exuberant lover of people, animals, food, art, language, theater, fashion, travel, and culture. Oh, Lord. As a self-taught chef with over 20 years of restaurant catering and design experience, Sari's adornment for food started at a very young age. After attending college in Minnesota, Sari moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and quickly became one of the most sought-after servers in the city. She has lived all over the United States and Mexico, opening multiple restaurants, cafes, and catering companies that would eventually lead her to Durango, where she opened what I just said is the Yellow Carrot. And she opened the Yellow Carrot in 2008. This woman is amazing. She is a musician. She's won various awards for acting and singing. She fluently speaks and practices several languages, including, brace yourself, English, Spanish, French, and Turkish. Wow. When she's not in the kitchen, Sari can be found entertaining and inspiring guests or enjoying yet another amazing project, thinking up something extraordinary with her Yellow Carrot crew and colleagues. The restaurant is at theyellowcarrot.com, but I got Sarah here right now. Sari, how are you?
I am freaking awesome. Thank you.
I love freaking awesome. You are a force of nature. Are you Wonder Woman in disguise? How do you do all of this and speak all these languages and have all these skills and acting, singing? I didn't know all of this. I just knew the Yellow Carrot, the restaurant.
Yeah.
What are you eating or drinking something special that the rest of us should start to indulging in, that are giving you superpowers?
I honestly, I really do love this planet and this earth so much. And it is part of my mission and goal to learn and infuse myself with so many different opportunities. language is to my heart. I actually speak majority Spanish on a daily basis. Most of my staff is from Mexico. I lived in Mexico.
Mhm.
And food. It really is the vessel that I have been gifted in order to express my soul and connect to humans on earth and deliver the happiness that they truly seek. It's
It's
I do.
amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah.
You
I talk about it and I get emotional. I really am, and inspiring people just to, um, like literally, you can see people transform when they start eating the food that I create. But
Mhm.
I always tell people it's I'm just the vessel. I'm the human that this energy has come to the planet through in order for people to uh, perceive, perhaps just for a fraction of their life, the
Mm,
world in a different way, just for a
mm.
second, for a moment.
I got
So
I got to tell you, I'm still stuck on your opening statement when you said you're in love with the planet and being here.
yeah,
I'm still stuck there because I hear so many people, believe it or not, who don't like being here, who don't like the planet, who don't like other people, who spend most of their time and days complaining. That seems to be the vast majority of what's out there. And Henry David
right.
Thoreau talked about people leading lives of quiet desperation in the 1800s. So it's not unusual. What is unusual is you and your attitude. Did you always have this? Were you born with this Pollyanna, the world is great, let's look for the good and the glad, or did it have to be developed?
That's an interesting question. I've always been different, obviously, and I was taught. My grandmother, and both sides of my grandparents were just incredible humans. And my grandmother was a twin, an identical twin, and I actually opened the Yellow Carrot on her 90th birthday in 2008. And
Oh,
she really taught me, sort of a plant Panglossian, which is a character from a French satire years ago that just was overly optimistic. And
yeah.
it's about
Yeah.
transmuting. It's being like an alchemist,
Yes.
turning the dark into light
Oh,
and
this is
finding.
good. This is
Yeah.
good. Good. Yes.
Well, and it's just what I do with food, and with humanity in general. We are here to enjoy the deliciousness
Mm,
this planet has to offer, and to evolve our souls and our spirits and our
mhm,
minds. And we were gifted these temples, which is this body, to do so.
mhm, mhm.
And you know, I, I'm also oddly enough a raw vegan. I cook everything. I cook fish. I cook meat.
Oh,
I cook everything. But it's about,
wow.
when these items come into my restaurant, I process them and I hug them and I love them and I bless them. Really, seriously, I hug
Yeah.
like an entire fish before I break it down.
You
Take a
should
video and put
video
it in
that
that.
because
I
that
know.
might be a good YouTube or Instagram video, you hugging a
Yeah.
fish. G
And
no, no.
while we're here on this planet and we're appreciating every tiny thing that we were given to appreciate, it
Mm,
just really raises your own value and will
yeah,
evolve your spirit and your soul.
yeah.
And the other thing, Joe, is what you blesses you in return. And so I
Mm,
can't even possibly imagine not being in a state of joy and the wisdom of joy at all times of my life. And it can be
yeah.
really annoying to people. It really can.
I know that too,
Yeah.
because I tell people about Pollyanna, and I give the interpretation that Pollyanna, the way it was written and the way the author explained it, was not somebody who denied reality, which is what people get upset about. They think Pollyanna means denying reality and what's
Mhm.
going on. And instead, she accepted reality, but looked for the good in reality, which
Right.
is completely different. And it's saying there is joy, there is good, there's something to be glad about. And that was the glad
Yeah.
game. Before we go too far, though, tell me who the French person was, the author, the book that you're referring to that your grandmother.
So Pangloss is a character in the 17th century satire. I'm gonna have to look it up. I
Oh,
can't
that's
know
okay. That's okay. I'm
lost the
just
name.
fascinated.
Yeah, it's a French satire. I'll look it up and send it to you. I can't. The name isn't on the tip of my tongue.
That's
Actually
okay.
wrote it. I wrote an email a few years ago about it to people. Um,
Oh,
but this character was his name was Pangloss, and a Panglossian view is just being overly optimistic.
I see.
And I was kind of deemed at this during the pandemic because when this all started happening, I went, oh, okay, here we go. Time to put on the turbo joy. Time to kick in the turbo joy. Um, so people would not, so I could create a space where people weren't in fear.
Mm,
We get into these really interesting spaces in our mindsets where we are so addicted to fear and suffering and pain that we will fight for it. And I
yes.
go, no, no, start telling yourself a different story. And what if you
Mm,
could wake up every morning and tell yourself, this is going to be the best day of my life? And then the first thing you put into your body is water, and you love it with all of your heart.
mm.
People go, oh, Siri, you don't drink bottled water. I'm like, well, I don't need to. I love it. So it does whatever I want it to do for me.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
and
This
yeah,
is oh, you're fascinating, and this is fascinating. And I love your energy. I love you.
thank
I love
you.
your enthusiasm for life. You got me all sparked up here.
Yeah,
I want to hang out. I want to go to your restaurant. I want to,
I would
and
love
it,
that.
well, I will at some point. We will do that. So I want to go back. You're growing up, and the novel was there. Your grandmother was there. Did you take this on easily, or did you struggle with, this is kind of the glad game. This is kind of an overly optimistic way of looking at life. This is not how life is. Did you look at any of that, or did you just assume the character of white light?
Well,
And
I would like to say that was the case.
yeah,
However, the life path that I chose this time around did have multiple struggles as a
ah,
child. My
okay,
mother was an alcoholic and my father
okay,
left when I was young, but I
okay,
still had a really wonderful family, but
yeah,
because of the belief systems that are cast upon most children of alcoholic families,
mhm,
you grow up with these, not good enough, not worthy. But
right,
I was, because of what I chose, music, and at a very young age, um, and acting and art, I was able to use humor. I did. I used humor and joy and being funny, um, as that vessel in order to expand who I was and where I was going.
I
And
see.
I never expected in a million years to become a chef. This all
Really?
evolved years ago. Yeah, it wasn't, but I believe that my grandfather and his farm was my original source of understanding food on that really profound and prolific level where I could feel it coming from the sapience of my soul. And I really connected with food and the way that it was produced. And he had such a love for it. He had such a love for his garden. And this is how it's so easy for me to be a raw vegan. I grew up just going into a garden, a
Yeah.
huge, huge, massive garden, just eating raw vegetables.
Wow.
Um, but it was, and I had to go through uh, my hills and my valleys as well, and my initiations and my assignments as a student of the planet, and to evolve my soul, and even up until today, I'm like, what? What belief system just came up? I mean, you know,
Uh,
trying to release
mhm,
the fear of success and the fear of failure just over the
mhm,
past few
mhm.
years of my life. And I hear my ego go, yeah, but you're still a failure. And I said, excuse me? What did you say?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
being in that awareness when you
Mhm,
can maintain a certain frequency and a vibration, and you can maintain that wisdom of joy, through patience and
yeah.
courage and certainty and clarity. And then you get to this understanding and depth when you hear these voices, you can approach them with such love and adornment that
Mhm.
you evolve. This is
Yeah,
evolution. So the
yeah.
way I was raised to who I am now, yes, the personality, the fun, the joy, the optimism, you know has always been a part of my personality. But
Mhm.
the growth from the
Yeah.
different experiences that I have been uh, priceless, and I wouldn't go back and change anything for the world.
I
If
I
I
love
have
that you're you're
Yeah.
sharing all this, and I love also that you're being transparent and saying you still wrestle with this. And
Yeah.
and I want to say something publicly here. I'm in the process of filming my own movie. It's a Zero Limits movie, and we're in production now. We were doing some filming here at my new home yesterday, and I wasn't planning on this, but along the way, the guest that was talking to me asked me about what I was still struggling with. And I openly admitted that, look, I'm still reading self help books. I'm still going to events. I still listen to audios. I still practice all the techniques that I either learned or invented or along the way discovered because I'm still in this process of awakening. I'm
Yes.
human. This is part of the
Yes.
human experience. So I'm openly kind of joining forces with you right
Yes.
now just to tell the world, look, there isn't a finish line that I'm
Yeah.
aware of. You just keep growing, you keep evolving, and you keep expanding. And that's what we're both doing here. So
Yeah.
I love that you said that. I do want to ask you something though. What helps you maintain that joyful feeling? So, in other words, if the ego comes in and you have that struggle, success, failure, and the voices are going off in your head, what have you learned to do to get back on center? Because this may be useful to other people that are watching or listening.
You know, honestly, the
Yeah,
first thing that came to my mind when you said that
yeah,
is food.
yeah, yeah.
Food. Like really.
Totally understand.
Like
Totally
if I
understand.
am having an interesting day full of challenges and struggles, I first go, what is happening here? And then I
Right?
go, time for some spinach.
Ah,
I really do. And the other thing is, I mean, really, Joe, is I as well. Like I, first of all, I tap into and trust that there is a higher realm in the universe supporting us at all
yeah,
times, at all times. And I trust them. And so I look for the signs and the clues. I ask for the signs and the clues. I
yeah.
command the signs and the clues so that I know that I am being um, protected and guided and led at all times. And I get interesting, I mean, I get the most interesting signs and clues, and I mean, most people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, really, these things happen."
Can you give me an
Synchronicity.
example? Give me an example of an interesting clue that you had fairly recently.
Yeah. So, um, well, I'll give you a couple of really interesting
Okay,
things,
good.
especially with the restaurant business, because I've never believed, oh, I was born to be a chef. I just evolved into it, and I became really, really good at it.
Yeah.
And I adore food with all of my heart. And I started connecting to it on really a cellular level that I knew it was coming from source and
Mhm,
divine. I knew it because it
mhm,
was just so easy and joyful. And about 5 years after I opened the Yellow Carrot, I said, am I really supposed to be doing this? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And a woman comes into my restaurant and she says to me, I've been, because I catered a lot. She said, I've been to a few of your events. And I said, well, where are you from? And she said, oh, I'm from Turkey. And I was like, interesting. And she says, what's your name? Now, literally, about 2 days before, I was like, all right, universe, you got to give me a sign and a clue that I'm really supposed to be doing this. And she comes in and she says, when she asked me my name, Sari, she says, well, do you know that your name translates to yellow in the Turkish language? And I went, okay, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep
right,
doing it.
right.
And then even like this year, I in May, I was struggling. I was like, I don't know if I am still on the right trajectory. I mean, you part of being a leader and a leader of humanity is also having these moments of struggle and pain. And I
Mm,
really was like, oh my gosh, it was back in May. I'm like, are you really wanting me to do this? And I called out to my guides and I said, I have got to know that this is going to work out because I don't know what's happening. And about an hour later, I get home and someone had texted me and said, I was in Alaska and I drove my friend to her new home. And this is the name of her street. And the street is called Sari Chef Street. And there's actually an island,
wow.
turns out, named Sari Chef Island. And there are
Yeah.
2,900 and some Saris in the world, and there's one chef, and that's me. And
Wow.
so that was a pretty
Yeah.
big don't stop, keep going. And, I connect to numbers and numerology, and I have angel guides. And
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
every single day, I mean, this is just a drop in the bucket of the things that I get. But those are some of the big, like, wow, okay.
No, those are fantastic. I love those
Yeah,
stories.
yeah,
And I look to my guardian angels too. I don't always talk about it, but I have guardian angels, and believe it or not, I talk to them every day. And
yes.
very often before I do something, like before I did this interview, I gather them around because I want their support. I want to be present. I want to be clear. I want to be divinely guided. So this is good for you, good for me, and for the people that watch it or listen to it. So
Yeah,
I enlist their support. I tell people, look, you all have guardian angels, but most of them are unemployed because you don't give them anything to do.
right.
And I just make a
Yeah.
request. No, so I love all of this. You made the comment that one of the things you do is turn to food. And I instantly said, yes, I agree. I would never turn to spinach, though. You, you I would have turned to, I mentioned carrot cake semi-jokingly in the front,
I
and that's
do
the
make
only
good
dessert
faces.
I've ever liked. And when I travel around the world, I've told people, look, I'm on a quest to find the perfect carrot cake. And then when they ask me what is the perfect carrot cake, I'll say, for one thing, there's no carrots in it. So, but I'm saying this partly because you turn to something that most people would consider healthy. You turn to spinach. I would say I turn to something that most people would consider unhealthy, though we can argue about both of them. Why are you turning to food at all? And then why is it, spinach? Why is it something good for you? Most people, if they're feeling bad, they want to do something that makes them feel good.
That's I'm glad you asked that question, because you know what I tell a lot of the people that come into my restaurant?
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what food you would turn to, as
Hmm.
long as you love it. If
Yeah.
you love that food, it is going to love you in return.
Hmm.
I make cupcakes. I make some of the most beautiful, brilliant cupcakes you've ever had. I'm actually really popular for my cupcakes. I've been making them for
Wow.
years. And I
Wow.
tell people, because of the person who I have trained to make these cupcakes, he whistles and sings every single time he makes them, every single day. And they are filled with such joy and love that once that cupcake comes in front of you, whether it be a cupcake or spinach,
Yeah.
it's how I feel about it. It's how
Yeah.
I feel about it and how it's going to serve me. So I literally do. I'm not kidding. I love spinach so much. I eat like a pound a day. It's a lot of spinach.
I had
I
no
do.
idea.
And I did a talk. I have a talk show, and my last series, I literally got into a bathtub of spinach. It was a dream. 20 pounds of spinach on top of me. And people are like, what did you do with the spinach? I'm like, I ate it. And I share this with you
I
because
love it.
what you put into your body dictates your frequency. It
Mm,
does. It is a
mhm,
part of that. And what
mhm.
even more so dictates your frequency is your thoughts. So the way you think about the food,
Yeah.
first of all, goes into your body. And then the way so your thoughts dictate everything, but then you are infusing that food with that thought. It's
Yeah.
just energy.
Yeah.
It's what you can't see it, but you can feel it,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
so I really have I do. It is my mission and my purpose on this planet to touch the lives of every living creature I meet. And guess what? Everything is living.
Yeah.
Everything. I
Yeah.
mean, even my lipstick is living because someone created this. And I have such a deep level of appreciation for the human that thought of this and created it, and then created the jar, the vessel, the little vessel, and the machine. Like, I'm always like, I really want to meet the person that made the machine for this vessel. I mean, and it really is it's a powerful way to just stay in that utter state of delight
Mm,
and
mm,
joy and excitement and appreciation for
mhm.
this entire planet and galaxy. Like, every single thing. And
Is
so
alive.
going back
Yeah.
to food, I mean, coming out of the earth, I mean, do you know what that is? Like the kindest thing an earth, like, we came to this earth and we go, hey, we're going to live here. Yes, we'll do it. And the earth goes, well, let me gift you all of these cool things that are going to come out of the ground and you can eat them. And I'm like, yes, I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world. And so I really get oddly excited. I mean, I do. And I just pour my heart and my love into all of it. And then what does it do to me in return? It gives it right back to me 100 times fold. And
what a beautiful thing to remind all of us of. You know, we went through the Thanksgiving holiday recently in the United States, and I had posted a video telling people, yes, give thanks for your life, give thanks for your family, your food, all of that, but also give thanks for the unseen. And the unseen are the things we take for granted. It's the fact that we have air. We're not thinking about the air, but somehow we're being supplied air. And without it, we wouldn't last but minutes. And it's like, let's pause here. You just reminded me of something I did not think of, and you're helping me be aware of it. And it's the whole idea that, yes, we're on planet Earth. And at the same time, the food supply is actually in the earth. It comes up out of the ground. My parents had a garden when I was a kid. I had a little garden later in years, and I saw that magic. And the magic is you plant a seed or you plant some aspect of the plant before it, and it starts to grow. And then there's food, and then you can eat it. So I love your attitude, and I love that you've illustrated this as a reminder for me as well as for everybody else.
Yeah, thank you.
Is your restaurant big? I've not been there yet, but I mean, how many people does it hold? How would you describe it?
Believing Before Seeing, a new bestseller by Candace Barr. Order your copy today.
So, the restaurant, I actually just moved to this location 5 years ago. And I took over a space that is almost 8,000 square feet.
Okay.
So when I moved over here, I was doing catering. I used to do big carved cakes like Cake Boss. So I did wedding cakes and cakes that looked like trains or dogs or animals. I did that for a long time. And then I also have the restaurant. It's about 70 seats.
Okay, perfect.
I call it my soul ship because it really is a special place. I mean, it really is. I was divinely guided in every single aspect, every single, I was inspired divinely by the decor and the way that I created it and the colors and you know, it's really special. And so when people come here, they immediately are like, wow, what is happening here? And I'm like, well, it's my angelic realm that have stewarded this, and they're, you know, I mean, supporting it. And
I feel it. I feel it.
It's magic.
Can you tell me, were you divinely inspired to do the restaurant itself? I think you said that your grandmother opened it in 2008. Did I hear you right?
No, I opened it on her birthday.
You opened it on her birthday.
Right.
Were you divinely inspired to open a restaurant? So in other words, were you driving down the road, minding your own business, and the voice of God, so to speak, tells you, hey, open up a restaurant in Colorado?
Well, I transformed from being the Yellow Carrot Catering Company to developing this Yellow Carrot restaurant. And I know that I was being nudged to do it.
Okay.
You know, and it was when I found this space and I knew this was the right and perfect space, I heard restaurant and I went, no way. I don't want to.
That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear if you heard the order, and then also if you said yes or if you resisted. And you said
originally resisted.
Yeah.
And I did not want to, but I knew I had to. And the whole past 5 years has been one of the most interesting, intricate soul evolutions I've ever experienced in my life, because I literally had to die to these old versions of myself to become who I am becoming every single day. And you know,
wait a minute. It sounds like you just gave a polite, nice description of what was a very agonizing process.
Pretty much.
Okay. So how did you get through this in agonizing? Because we want to make sure we still have the white light on this. We understand that you're joyful, that you want to do this, you're obeying the divine, but it's a struggle. And I want to dig a little bit because, again, I'm trying to help the people that watch or listen, and maybe they're getting orders to open a restaurant or write a book or go somewhere or do something, and they're resisting. And you're saying you did resist, then you did say yes, but it doesn't mean it was easy street.
No, No, and it's still not. I'm still going through some massive transformation and change in order to become the, you know, chef and CEO visionary of the Yellow Carrot and these other, I have other companies as well. So this isn't the only
Wow.
one. And I, am going from this version of myself that I kept for 15 years, and I'm being called to become this person. But when you have been programmed for so long to do it just this way, you have got to transform. And the how am I doing it and
Yeah.
staying in utter joy and
Yes.
delight
Tell
every
me.
single day is I listen. I do. I listen. I hear go left, go right. I hear go up, go down. And I listen and I say, wow, okay, that's not really what I thought I would be doing. And I hear you must trust and you must start believing in this
How do you
higher
tell the
power.
difference? How do you tell the difference between that voice telling you to turn left and your ego that could be deceiving you? How do you learn? Because I know there's people in this boat where they're going, well, my voice says go spend all my money at the grocery store or the department store or go on a world tour. And it's like, well, maybe the voice told you that, or maybe that was your ego just telling you to go have fun and spend your money. And it might have been self-sabotage. How did you learn to discern the difference? Because this could be useful to people that might be struggling with hearing direction.
Well, I think it takes a practice, because you do have to discern between the ego and that divine voice, your higher
Mm,
self.
mm.
But I tell people just practice with am I a man or a woman? What's the first thing you hear? You know, is that
Okay.
black or white? What's the first thing you hear? Your
Ah,
divine is always going to tell you the truth. Your
ah,
ego is going to be like, well, I don't know. Maybe you are a woman. Maybe you are a man. You can be whatever you want to be. What? Well, I don't really like who you are anyway.
that's good. That's a
your
good
your
distinction.
ego
Yeah.
will always try to argue something. It will
Yeah.
always try to
Ah,
argue and
ah.
spin you around in circles because
Hmm.
it doesn't, the whole discernment for me is actually connecting the ego and that, lower conscious with the higher conscious. So they're always in agreement,
That's
you know?
beautiful. That's
And
beautiful.
so when you are making decisions that come from the heart, they're effortless and they always work out. When you're making decisions that come from that ego, it will spin you around all day long and you don't know if you're doing the right thing or not.
Yeah.
And that creates an energy of mistrust and distrust. And so you just go back to that old comfort zone of believing the ego. And it takes practice. I'm still practicing it every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah.
But I also call upon the guides and the higher self and I say, rock my world. Give me a clue, give me a sign today that I am on the right track, that I am listening.
Yeah.
And I've just had circumstances where the other thing I tell people, Joe, the first thought is the best thought because it's always the right thought, and that is your divine thought. Once you start hee-hawing over it and
Yeah.
and trying to make sense of it, I'm like, well, that one
Yeah.
thought, that first one is always the right one. And
Ah. Hmm.
especially with the practice of food, when I am making something, I will hear it, add that. And I'll go over here and be like, well, don't do that. No, what if you burn it? What if you just have my hair? Add that, add this, do this, do this, do this. Every time I have followed that divine inspiration with that first thought, it has come out perfect. If
Wow.
I listen to that ego, like, let's just use an example on a cake. You know, uh, the mousse maybe wasn't perfect, and my divine goes, you better remake it. And I go, I don't have time. These people are going to be here. They're going to be mad at me. My divine goes, you got to remake it. And I go ahead with my ego and I just go ahead and sold it anyways. Every single time I get a complaint. Well,
Ah.
and it's only been about 4 times. So if you will listen,
Yeah.
you will be divinely guided because the divine in the universe can then take over the situation and support it. Where if you're coming from this ego, you're just constantly fighting, you're creating this negative energy, then what does that do? It transforms to the next person and the next person, and the next person.
Yeah.
And then you've got chaos.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you're illustrating that I want people to catch on to is you are an entrepreneur. You are in business. And most people, when they get into spirituality, dismiss and avoid and deny business and money. And suddenly money and business and all of that is the bad guy. And they don't want to be near it. And I've been preaching, and I've written books like The Awakened Millionaire that say, no, you have to do both. You
Mhm.
join them. And so what I'm hearing is that that's what you're doing. So can you confirm that listening to the divine and following that in your restaurant business has helped you increase your business and profit from it?
Yeah, it absolutely has. It absolutely has. And it has also taken me on a journey so I can increase and multiply my
Yes.
business.
Yes.
Because I had to get into the depths in the crevices and the cracks of my subconscious mind and heal these programs and these belief systems. And that was all due to the angelic and spiritual world and my divine. Had I
Wow.
not followed that, I would not be becoming the woman that I was meant to be, being able to seize the world with the joy and the companies that I'm creating. I believe that is get my next steps. I wouldn't keep coming back if I didn't believe it.
That's
And that's
beautiful.
faith. And you have to have some level of faith, and you
Mhm.
must honor yourself and your divine and have that trust,
Mhm.
because this is what creates that vortex of goodness and joy and cheer. Now people go, well, what about these people? They didn't really care about that and they're super successful. And I'm like, well, that's all they wanted.
Yeah.
That's all they wanted. But if
Yeah.
you want to evolve and grow and have more and more and more, for me, you must trust, because everybody's trusting to a degree. They just don't know what they're doing. But
Yeah.
you tap into that. I mean, you get a message from an angel guide, or, I mean, I tell people, we're all just angel messengers. Everybody that comes into your life is just an angel messenger telling you what you need to do or what you need to hear or
Mm.
what you need to be. Or, even if someone gives me a negative comment, my answer is thank you. It's like, I really appreciate that. Now I can go work on that.
Wow.
I mean, I
Mhm.
literally
Mhm.
just had someone call me a narcissist the other day online because they
Really?
thought that, yeah. And I was like, that is awesome. I'm like, I've never been called that before. So there must be something in me that I can clear, because I don't want to advertise ignorance getting in front of a
Yeah.
group of people, or people that I want to lead and love and guide. And they go,
Mhm.
well. And I'm like, no, I've cleared that. I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
there, you
So
know?
would you say the CEO of your business, your restaurant, isn't really you? It's the what I'll say is the divine. You may have a different word for it.
Yeah.
uh, and because I think this is worth everybody listening to,
Yeah.
because so many people think they have to go into business and they're going to do all of it. That's the ego approach. There is
Right.
another way of being in business, and
Yeah.
that is where spirit is kind of giving the orders. I call them
Right.
marching orders. Those are the requests from the divine. You have free will. You can say no, but it's usually better to say yes, because the
Right.
benefits and the surprises and the miracles come from that. So would you
Yeah.
agree that's your
Absolutely.
boss is not you. Your boss isn't even your customers. Your boss is a higher power.
Yes, I absolutely would agree on that. I absolutely, and I love that, the way that you have that the verbiage on that. Because if
Mhm.
you do agree to follow that, your rewards will be beyond reckoning. Because
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens is you get the whole package. You get health, wealth, and happiness. You
Yes.
don't have to exchange one for the other. I don't go, oh well, I'm healthy and happy, but boy, I sure am not wealthy. Well, the divine
Ah,
goes, well, you are. You're
yeah,
just going through something. Or I'm like, boy, I sure am wealthy, but I'm not very healthy. And the
yeah.
divine goes, you are. Just start listening. And
Well, this show is called Zero Limits Living, and really it's an exploration to find out if we have any limits at all. And so you are lifting limits in your own life to go from where you were as a child. You weren't even really interested in cooking or anything like that. You're eating raw food out of the garden and fall in love with that aspect of it. But here you are running this successful restaurant, and it's been in business since 2008. So apparently you made it through the pandemic as well.
yeah,
And you're here smiling and joyful. And your website, I went to look at it earlier. It's lively, and there's all kind of things going on, and you got your email going on. So apparently you're still lifting your own limits. And
oh
my
yeah,
question is, do you believe we have any limits? Do you believe we have any limits?
absolutely not. There is no sky. That's
I
what I
used to
tell
say the
people.
sky isn't the limit, because that's a limitation.
Yeah,
We can go beyond it. And I don't know what's beyond it,
right.
but let's go that
Yeah.
direction. Let's just keep
Well,
lifting the bar.
I'm grateful that you asked me that question, because this is
Yeah.
what I share with my staff. Anything,
Ah,
anything is possible. I
yeah.
have proven it every day in this store with my own personality, with the things that I love to do. I mean, we
Yeah.
are in such a precious time of this world and this planet, and we chose to come to participate. I mean, in 100 years, come on, in 100 years, we go from no electricity to flying airplanes and cell phones. And you would have told my grandmother when she was 5 that we'd be talking like this, she would have thought I was crazy.
Right.
There obviously are no limits, none, no limits in my food, no limits in what I do. Now, okay, yes, what is the limit? You're the limit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
By
Right.
what you believe, and especially because the information that is shared with me from these other realms that I can translate and I believe it. Otherwise, you should just put me into home, because
Right.
I hear it, and the vibrations that I can
Hmm.
understand and I
Hmm.
believe in, and this is what is here. I'm here to inspire other people with. We
Hmm.
can do whatever we want, and it's all about a vibrational match on top of that. I mean, we go back there, you go to Abraham Hicks. I mean, everything's a vibrational match. And if it's not working out the way you plan, change the vibration or go somewhere else. But you can do whatever you want. And we
Right.
humans are the most, our DNA is the highest form of technology in the galaxy. And if we would learn to reprogram ourselves and tap into that, just like I do with food and humans, I do, just
Hmm.
through
Hmm.
the really profound sense of love that I have for people. Um, I mean, I do. I mean, like just you. I mean, I love you. I freaking love you. And I love this world and I love this planet and I love everything about it. We can, and this is how we evolve our souls and
Mm.
know that there are no limits, none, but you have to go through it. And I'm not going to be ever tell anybody, I'll be the first to say, it's not easy, but you can make it fun.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Hmm.
it's not
Hmm.
easy. I mean, baking a cake is not easy, but you can make it fun.
Well, listen, we're going to get down to the wire here, which is unfortunate because I can talk to you
I
forever.
know.
But when I get to, the yellow carrot, I'm going to sit down with you and you can make time. Meanwhile, you knew you were going to be interviewed. Was there a question you were hoping I would ask, or was there a story you were hoping you would share? Was there something you really wanted the opportunity to talk about or get out to the world? Because here's your chance.
I think that we have covered so much, Joe. You are
Yeah.
really a fascinating human, and I am so grateful that I even got to be a part of your show and meet you. Um, I shared more than I actually even expected that I would. So this is really fun. You
And
know,
were you
I,
in my Miracles coaching program or the mentoring program, or how do we know each other? You have to remind me.
Well, again, just interesting circumstances. About 6 or 7 years ago, I was just at this place where I'm like, okay, I have got to make some changes. Something has got to go on here. I was just kind of stuck. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden, here comes, I don't know, something about millionaire mindset up on one of my
Ah,
phones.
uh-huh,
Again,
uh-huh.
I call this divine. You ask and you'll receive. And I just followed the clues. I followed the nuggets and I ended up getting to the achieve,
Yes,
um,
yes.
which I love them. I adore them. I got my own silver coaching with Adam and
Yes.
Jed, who is, I believe, a friend of yours that met
Yeah,
probably.
both of them are. I've known them both for a
Love
long time.
them. I
Yeah.
love them. And so, I mean, this is how I ended up knowing you. I've read all of your books. I
Oh,
teach Ho'oponopono, which
wow.
I mean,
Wow.
use it every day of my life.
Wow.
I
I
mean,
didn't
I don't
know
know if
all
you
of that.
see, but all in my store, if you look to the screen there, it's all blue
Oh,
bottles.
I see the blue bottles in the background. Yes.
I've decorated my entire store with those. I mean, what you have shared with this planet and what you have been gifted to come down here and infuse the hearts of humanity with is it's priceless, and
Wow.
I'm grateful and gifted to be in your presence and know you and have you as my friend. So thank you
Wow.
for this opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you, of
Yeah.
course. So, I have to ask the question since I jokingly brought it up a couple times. Do you make carrot cake?
I'd make the best freaking carrot cake you will ever have in your life. I'm serious. People tell me it's the best. It's a loaded carrot cake.
How
So
so?
it has
Loaded with love. I know
blueberries.
that much.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It has blueberries
Oh,
and pineapple and walnuts,
oh,
and
wow.
it's got a white chocolate ganache with creme brulee filling.
I'm flying out
It's
tonight.
insane. Like, it's insane. I
I've
have an
never had a
entire,
carrot cake like that. I've never heard the
yeah.
description
Uh,
like that.
I have an entire bakery case. It's almost 40 feet long. I sell over 25 cupcakes today, and I have about an additional 30 pastries that I make daily besides the restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
really, really fun. I can't
Yeah,
wait for you to come here.
I want to come there. Let me ask a couple other just random questions, shooting from the hip, and a little bit of time I have left with you. Have you written a cookbook or plan to write one?
I am in the process of that as we speak.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for asking. Yes, it's
Yeah. And I know you have a newsletter. Do people just go to the yellowcarrot.com and they can sign up for that?
yes, yes,
Okay. And do
yes.
you ship any food? Do you ship carrot cake, for example? Do you ship anything to people, to buyers in other parts of the country?
I do. So I also have a snack company. It's called the Yellow Carrot Snack Company.
Wow.
And right now online, if you go to the yellowcarrot.com,
Hmm.
there's a like icon that will take you to the Yellow Carrot Snack Company, and I ship those nationwide.
And
Yeah,
do
I
you
make
have,
all of my own chips here in this location.
you are so incredible. Do you have t-shirts or any of the fun
Yes,
wearable stuff
yes,
as well?
yes.
Yeah.
I have
Are they
all of it.
yellow? Are they yellow t-shirts, or is the carrot yellow, or
The carrot is yellow.
the
Yes.
carrot the carrot is yellow? And what do you have celebrities that come in? You're in Colorado, and there's ski country and everything. I'm thinking nearby because I haven't been right where you're at.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not the celebrities go more to the Front Range, which is Aspen. I'm down south by the Four Corners.
okay.
Um,
And there's
I
no southern celebrities down there.
no, I haven't got really any celebrities so far in here, but they're
That
on
is,
their way. They're on their way.
oh, I'm just.
I
It doesn't
was
even matter.
chosen to be on America's Best Restaurants, and they're coming in May,
Oh, oh,
which is a big
congratulations!
celebrations. Yeah, thank you. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so
What dish are you most proud of that you've invented, that you get applauded for, won something for? Was there something as an entree?
well, the way I present the food is really, really, really it's off the charts. Like, for instance, I have a dish pad thai, and
Oh, yeah.
most everyone that comes here says, "Wow, this isn't your typical pad thai," and I'm like, "Well, because you have never been to Thailand."
Right,
But
right.
I literally studied pad thai for about 2 months until I finally came up this with my own version of it, and it is
Ah,
phenomenal. Like, it really is.
wow.
Like,
Wow.
and I serve it out of the mouth of a hippopotamus.
I am so coming to your restaurant.
Yeah, and one other dish that and you're gonna have to have both of these. All of the dishes that I serve have a story. Everything has a
Yeah,
story
beautiful,
because the
beautiful.
presentation is ridiculously fun. It's so much fun. And then
Mhm,
the food on top of that is just extraordinary.
mm.
And so I was in Office Depot about a year and a half ago, and it's the first time I'd been to Office Depot in years. And they had these adorable little yellow scissors, like for kids, and they were yellow. And I'm like, oh my
Mm.
gosh, I have to have these scissors. They're so cute. And so I bought 10 pair of these tiny little scissors. And I was like, I've got to come up with a really cool dish. And so what I did is I came up with this eggplant, and it's like an octopus. I cut it so it has these little legs, and then I
Yeah.
hang it from this little heart shaped hook I made. And so when I bring the eggplant out, it's got all these legs hanging out, and then it's deconstructed with all these different flavors. And you cut the legs off with the scissors to eat it. It is so much fun.
I love your creativity. I love your vision. Let me ask, I guess this is going to be a final question because that gave me a note that we have to end here in a minute. What advice would you have if somebody wanted to open a restaurant today?
Mm, wow. My advice to them would be to absolutely go with your heart and your soul, but make sure you love it, that you're opening a restaurant because you want to provide a service of love and joy and food to humanity, because it's not just about, opening a restaurant. Because a lot of people do, oh, I'm going to open a restaurant and I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm like, well, you have to take it to the next level. You really do. And have your, and this doesn't sound spiritual, but it is. Have your systems and structures, your geometry, everything lined up, because I'm learning the hard way. I didn't do that. And so I'm going back, and that is what I tell people, really know what it is in your heart. Go into the depths of your soul. And is it truly what you want to do? Do you love food that much that that's what you want to do? Because part of what my mission is to change the restaurant culture, so that when you come into a place, you don't insist and demand on everything that you want, but you come to enjoy a service of evolving your spirit and your soul through the gift of food, because you can't live without food.
Right.
So let's take it to the next level, so that everybody in our presence can really enjoy and love and be that light. That's,
Yeah, that's it.
People eat, live. They eat to live instead of live to eat. I'm like, come on, every day. People come in, I can't have this, this, and this. I said, I don't care about that. What can you have?
Yeah.
What can you have? Let's start there. Because going back to what you said, and this, I know we have to go, but I tell people this all the time. And a lot of people don't like me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. The only sin is limitation. When you walk around this planet limiting yourself to every single thing it has gifted us, every party favor we are given every single day from this planet, you are limiting yourself from what it is offering us to evolve the love in our hearts, because that's all it's about, is love and having fun, And so don't limit yourself to that cupcake. Don't limit yourself to people go, what should I eat here? And I say, yes.
Right. You are amazing. You really are Wonder Woman, and you are electrifying, and you are Superwoman, and you are a force of nature. I am so impressed. Thank you for making time to do this. I'm really grateful.
Joe.
And I am coming.
You are. You have to. You absolutely
I am coming.
I'm holding you to it.
You don't have to hold me to it, because I'm on my way. I might be at the airport tonight. I've been talking to Sari Suzanne Seedorf, who runs The Yellow Carrot. Go to theyellowcarrot.com and sign up for her newsletter and everything else that she's offering, and order a carrot cake or something else. Anyway, you've been watching Zero Limits Living. I'm Dr. Joe Vitale. You can see this show or hear it on 1,000 platforms, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and a whole lot more. Or just go to ZeroLimitsLivingTV.com and binge. Check out Miracles Coaching. Go to miraclescoaching.com. I want to thank Lux Media Studios, Candace Barr, Nick running the engineering, and all of you for making time to be here. I love you all. Expect miracles.